So I'm going to show these vaults twice. I want you to concentrate on what you think this vaulter did well and what you thought the vaulter should receive a deduction for. So I want you to look in a general way at vaults. And the thought is, when you see this number, 1.04, you should know it's going to be a handspring double full. You should have in your mind what you might expect to see. What expectation do you have for this vault? Straight body, lift and rise, and a good body posture during the twist, and a good landing. So here we go. The panel of judges that looked at this vault number 1.04, it's worth a 10, and the average score was a 9.15. The areas that I wanted you to see was that there was a hip angle in the pre-flight. There should have been some deduction that you saw for her body posture hip angle on the pre-flight. Support phase, her shoulders and arms, and early turn on the table. Height on this vault, she kind of went out but not up. There was no rise, not a significant rise, anywhere up to a 0.2. There was a large step. This was a good example of a 2/10 deduction for a large step. There's also some directional issue where she actually landed the vault, probably in the 1/10 category, and dynamics 0.5 to 1. And the average score was a 9.15. The second vault I want to show you is handspring front pike with a half. Okay, here she goes. Your expectation for this vault should be clean on, height and rise and open. Okay, that is a front handspring pike with a half. Its start value is 10, and the average score was a 9.5. The areas for deductions were legs, feet, knees, and a slight arch coming on up to 1.5. Support phase, slight shoulder angle, possibly an 0.5. Height was the biggest deduction, up to 1.5. Length, 0.1. Lack of opening. This is something you should be watching for in this particular type of vault. This was 0.5 to 1. She took a step. The other thing she did that some of these other vaults will not show you, she did a significant arm swing to maintain her balance. And a few judges saw up to 0.5 on direction, dynamics 0.5 to 1. All right, another vault. This is vaulter number 2. That is your Chinko vault with a half front lay. Okay, here she goes. So your expectation for this vault is a good layout position, staying nice and stretched, half twist being clear and precise, and a good landing. So the value is a 9.95 and an average score of a 9.6. The areas of deductions were nothing on the pre-flight. So support phase, 0.5 to 1 for relaxed knees and a slight shoulder angle. Height, she really sort of just flipped it over rather than rise off the table. Length, 0.5 to 1, and a slight pike, nothing to 0.5. Landing, everybody agreed on a 1/10 step and an average score of a 9.6. All right, the next vault is again the front handspring pike with a half. Okay, that is a front handspring pike with a half. The vault value is 10 and an average of a 9.45. I hope you saw this. On the first flight, she had a leg separation, 0.5 to 1. On support, she had a shoulder angle, slight arch, relaxed knees. Her height, 1 to 2. Again, it didn't rise as much as we would hope. Her length was nothing to 0.5. Again, her lack of opening, her chest was down, and her legs and knees while she was in flight, 0.5 to 1. A full step, 1/10, and body position on landing. Again, her chest was down. Dynamics 0.5 to 1. So we are now going to move into the Yurchenko vaults. So this is the vault we see most often, Yurchenko full. All right, so this is probably the most common vault we see collegiately. Round off back layout with a full. The value is 995 with an average of a 9.7. The deduction areas were nothing on the pre-flight, support phase, nothing to 0.5 for her shoulder angle. Second flight, height, 0.5 to 1, and then a slight pike, nothing to 0.5, a step, and slight direction. I'm going to pull it back. I want you to watch what she does with her feet. When does she come into control of the landing? When do you stop deducting? And when do you just call it good? So she really did not finish the vault until she stepped forward and stepped together. So again, this is something we have to learn to be a little more consistent on, is when to take the deductions on the landing. Did she show control? Was she finished? And clearly the majority of the judges saw that there was not a real finish to her landing. All right, now we're going to move into the Yurchenko 1.5s. This is vaulter number 5, Yurchenko 1.5. So this vaulter showed clear control of her landing, which was great. Back layout 1.5, 10.0 start, and the average was a 9.9. Now you'll see that there's a lot of zeros over here. Most judges took height, 0.5 to 1 in height of that vault. No one took a length deduction, and the average was a 9.9. Okay, the next vault is number 7, same vault, 1.5 twist. So this vault, again, was a layout 1.5, 10.0 start, an average score of a 9.55. These were the areas of deductions. First flight, nothing to 0.5 for a slight arch. Support phase, nothing to 0.5 on the shoulder angle. Everyone was in agreement that she lacked height, either 0.5 to 1. Length, a 0 to 0.5. Her body posture on landing received deductions from everyone. If you step backward toward the table, you take this flat 1/10 deduction, in addition to the stepping. Body posture in flight, body posture on landing. Everyone took an 0.5 in dynamics on this vault. All right, here we go. Vaulter number 9. Again, another 1.5. Okay, I hope you can recognize that she had great rise on this particular vault. It's a layout with a 1.5, 10-0 start, and her average was a 9.85. She had deductions for slight knee, maybe slight arch coming on the table, nothing in support. Her height, no one had a height deduction on this athlete. In fact, there were comments about the nice height. Slight knee issues on the second flight, 0 to 0.5. A definite step, 1/10, and no one took a dynamic deduction on this athlete. So this is a good picture that I try to put in my mind when I'm watching this type of vault, that you should see that type of explosive rise off the table. All right, here's vaulter number 10, same vault. This athlete performed a back layout 1.5, 10-0 start, and an average score of a 9.95. No one gave her a 10-0. Clearly, very clean performance. No first flight deductions, no support flight deductions. Second flight, some took height, some had 0.5 in body position. I thought that was an exceptionally clean looking vault, possibly not as high and long as some we've seen, but very, very clean. Vaulter number 12. All right, back layout 1.5, it's a 10-0 vault. Her average was a 9.8, and here's the breakdown. Nothing to 0.5 on knees on the pre-flight, support phase, nothing to 0.5 on shoulder. Everyone agreed that there was a height deduction of 0.5 or 1. Some saw body posture in flight and leg separation. Landing, about half of the panel took a full step. So this is where I feel like we don't have a consistent decision on what to do when they land on toe like that and don't really put their heel back down and show you control of the landing. Okay, this is number 13, vaulter number 13, same vault. Back layout 1.5, start value 10, the average score was a 9.5. The deductions were nothing in the pre-flight. Everyone agreed there was a slight height deduction, 0.5 to 1. She stepped backward toward the table, so she should be receiving deduction for under rotation. There was an agreement on 2 steps on landing, and the dynamics 0.5 to 1. So if you go back and look at this vault, and we'll try to stop it when she actually lands. What is that safe landing issue? So here is this position, and here is this position. This is the safer landing would have been here, and her chest being more forward. So the last vault is a different vault. This is going to be a double full. All right. So she certainly is a good vaulter. It is a difficult vault. She's taking the risk of doing a much more difficult vault. It's worth a 10, and the average was a 9.6. What was deducted, nothing on the pre-flight, 0 to 0.5 in support. Everyone agreed there should be a height deduction of 0.5 to 1, 0 to 0.5 in length, 0 to 0.5 in body position, and slight leg separation in flight. Under rotation, everyone agreed she stepped toward the table. It wasn't completely rotated, tilted on landing. Landing, a full step, 1/10, and body posture on landing, 0 to 05. Dynamics, 0 to 05 on this particular vault. All right, that's the end